It's the end of 2019, and it's amazing to think that the students that we've all taught in the last decade are going to be our workforce for 2030. A workforce that's going to create some phenomenal change for our world.
I think it's important as educators to reflect on why it is that we do what we do. And what better time to do that than at the end of the decade as we head into the 2020s.
And we know that our STEM literacy in Australia is not where it needs to be. PISA has just recently released its 2018 figures, which looks at 15-year-olds around the world and their ability to apply their knowledge and skills to real-life problems. And across reading literacy, science literacy and maths literacy, we've seen a steady decline since the early 2000s, and which has seen both science and maths drop by the equivalent of 1 year of school across Australia. And not only this is alarming, but also the fact that other countries are now overtaking us or are well ahead, and the difference between Australia and the leading countries in science literacy is 3.5 years of schooling. This here is something that needs to be addressed and is quite alarming.
What we know from the last decade is that STEM skills are essential, and they're going to continue to be so as we move into the 2020s. Now, according to a PricewaterhouseCoopers study in 2018, by 2020, we know that 77% of jobs will need technological skills. And we also know that we already have a shortage of STEM workers in industry.
So where to from here? Well, for the last 3 years, we've been engaging across a number of sectors to increase STEM literacy. Not only having a focus in the P to 12 years with schools, but we've also been working with universities, industry and government to help address the STEM literacy issue.
I think there's a number of factors that are involved here when we think about unpacking STEM and what's actually required to create STEM skills and the STEM workforce of the future. And part of that are the actual technical skills, so maybe it's working with drones or robots, but those real hands-on technical aspects. But the other part that's really, really important is often what gets called the soft skills. And those soft skills are not soft, they're actually hard. And this is all about how we communicate and how we problem solve in teams, and we work together to knowledge share. And I think this is one of the critical components of STEM that sometimes can get a little bit forgotten in the midst of the hardcore technical type skills that seem to be the tick box things that are a lot easier to measure sometimes as well.
So the students that are in primary school now are going to be our workforce from 2030. And the skills that we teach them for the next decade, they're going to use to create some pretty amazing change in this world.
Yeah, and this might cover a range of different areas. So we might be thinking about the natural environment and all the challenges that we have around climate change and population pressure. It might be around the built environment. So how do we create smart cities? And again, how do we use the built environment to help with the natural environment as well? And also more into the social good or even humanitarian side of things as well. So how can we make quality of life better for people purely by using STEM skills to get us there?
A massive amount of problem solving and creativity that's required to come through all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that it's just the technical side of things. It absolutely has to be the creativity and innovation there.
So as we move into the next decade, we're going to continue to do what we love, to help teachers boost STEM literacy in their classrooms. And the way we're going to do that is by continuing to give you some great resources and support so that you can do what you do best, which is to teach.
And early in 2020, we've got some exciting things coming up. We've got some new products and resources that we can't wait to share with you all. So thanks so much for your support to date, and we look forward to working with you more into the next decade.